7 powerful signs you've met your soulmate without realizing it. Something meaningful pulled you here at this exact moment, and that isn't coincidence. It's alignment responding to a quiet awareness forming inside you, because there was a moment in your past that carried more weight than you understood at the time, an encounter that seemed ordinary on the surface but left a lasting imprint beneath your consciousness. A meeting that didn't arrive with fireworks or dramatic emotion, yet lingered in your spirit long after the conversation ended, and the universe is bringing this memory back into focus now because your perception has matured enough to recognize its significance. When soulmate energy enters your life, it doesn't always announce itself loudly. It often arrives as familiarity, comfort, and recognition without explanation, a calm presence that feels safe, natural, and strangely timeless. You may have felt at ease around them without trying, able to speak freely, able to be yourself without performance, and that sense of emotional resonance isn't accidental, it's recognition occurring beyond logic. After that encounter, you might have noticed your perspective shifting quietly, valuing depth over surface attraction, craving meaningful connection instead of attention, feeling less interested in temporary excitement and more drawn to emotional authenticity. And that internal change didn't happen randomly, it was activated. Soulmate encounters awaken dormant awareness. They stir growth even if the person doesn't remain physically present. Another powerful indicator is timing, because these meetings rarely happen when life feels settled. They appear during personal transition, emotional healing, spiritual questioning, or identity shifts, moments when you were evolving, shedding old versions of yourself, or seeking clarity about your path, and that timing matters. The universe introduces transformative connections when growth is required, not when comfort is convenient. You may have also experienced lingering emotional presence after separation, not obsession, not longing rooted in attachment, but quiet remembrance that surfaced unexpectedly, gentle thoughts that appeared during reflective moments, dreams that carried familiar energy, or subtle emotional echoes that didn't fade easily. And that persistence isn't imagination, it's energetic imprint. When soulmate recognition occurs, it leaves behind resonance. Another sign often overlooked is symbolic confirmation. After meeting them, you may have noticed repeating number patterns like 111, 222, or 444, meaningful coincidences that felt strangely aligned, songs that reflected your emotional state, conversations that repeated similar themes, or moments that seemed synchronized with your thoughts. These patterns function as confirmation signals, the universe reinforcing that something important occurred. Emotional triggering that leads to healing is another powerful indicator. Soulmate encounters don't always feel comfortable. They often bring buried emotions to the surface, highlighting unresolved wounds so they can finally be addressed. If you noticed old patterns shifting, emotional awareness increasing, or healing beginning after meeting them, that discomfort carried purpose. It wasn't meant to harm you, it was meant to awaken growth. Another significant sign is physical sensation. Your body often reacts before your mind understands. You may have felt grounded instead of anxious, calm instead of nervous, peaceful instead of overwhelmed, and that reaction is recognition energy rather than attraction energy. It reflects compatibility on emotional and spiritual levels, not just chemistry. Distance also plays a role in soulmate recognition. Not all connections remain physically present. Some appear briefly to activate transformation, redirect your path, or prepare you for future alignment. And if someone entered your life, changed you deeply, then stepped away, while leaving lasting impact, that wasn't abandonment, it was purpose fulfillment. The universe sometimes assigns people to awaken growth rather than remain permanently. You may have tried to forget this person, move forward, distract yourself with new experiences, yet something inside always remembered that encounter differently than others, not because of romance alone, but because of impact. They altered your emotional standards, strengthened your self-respect, reshaped your expectations, and expanded your awareness of what real connection feels like. Another sign is how your intuition responded. You may have felt drawn to them without knowing why, sensing connection without logical explanation, experiencing inner certainty without external proof, and that intuitive recognition matters. Your inner guidance responds to alignment long before circumstances reveal meaning. Soulmate encounters also shift your emotional trajectory. After meeting them, you may have stopped tolerating unhealthy dynamics, set stronger boundaries, chosen peace over chaos, and prioritized personal growth, and those changes didn't happen accidentally. They were activated by recognition. Another powerful indicator is how this awareness is resurfacing now. The universe doesn't bring past connections into focus without reason. It does so when you're entering a new phase of readiness. When your emotional frequency has changed enough to integrate the lesson fully. You may be feeling restless lately, craving deeper meaning, sensing transition approaching without knowing why. And that feeling reflects your soul remembering what genuine connection feels like and guiding you back toward alignment. Soulmate recognition doesn't always mean immediate union. Sometimes it means preparation, awakening, and growth before the next chapter unfolds, and realizing this now empowers you. It reminds you that you are capable of deep connection, emotional intimacy, spiritual partnership, and aligned love. You didn't imagine that moment, you didn't exaggerate its importance, and you didn't misinterpret the energy. Your soul recognized something real, and that recognition altered your timeline. The universe is revealing this now because another opportunity for alignment is approaching, another doorway opening, another chance to apply everything you've learned. And understanding these signs allows you to step forward with awareness rather than confusion, clarity instead of doubt, and readiness instead of hesitation. After recognizing that such a meeting already shaped your emotional path, the next layer of understanding begins to unfold quietly, because soulmate awareness does not stop at memory. It reshapes perception, behavior, and direction moving forward, and this stage is about integration rather than recognition. You may notice that your emotional reactions have softened over time, becoming more thoughtful, less impulsive, more grounded in clarity, and that shift reflects internal alignment taking root. Experiences that once triggered insecurity now feel manageable. Situations that once caused anxiety now feel neutral, and this change didn't happen randomly, it grew from the awareness activated by that connection. Another sign of deeper integration is how your priorities evolved, valuing peace over chaos, authenticity over performance, stability over emotional roller coasters, and this new perspective influences how you approach relationships, friendships, work, and even daily decisions. You may also notice increased sensitivity to energy, sensing when something feels right or off without needing explanation, trusting your intuition more deeply, and responding to inner guidance with confidence instead of doubt. This heightened awareness often develops after soulmate recognition because your emotional intelligence expands, allowing you to read situations more clearly. Another indicator is how you handle solitude differently now, no longer fearing alone time, using it for reflection, creativity, rest, or personal growth. And this comfort with self-presence signals emotional maturity. Soulmate encounters teach you how to be whole before seeking partnership, not dependent on external validation. Another shift appears in communication patterns, choosing honesty over avoidance, expressing needs more clearly, setting boundaries without guilt, and listening with empathy rather than defensiveness. These habits develop naturally when awareness increases, preparing you for healthier connection in the future. You may also find yourself drawn to meaningful conversations, deeper topics, spiritual exploration, or personal development content, and that curiosity reflects awakening, the desire to understand yourself and life more fully. Another sign is emotional discernment, recognizing red flags faster, noticing inconsistency without rationalizing it away, and choosing alignment over attachment. This skill protects your emotional well-being and prevents repeating old patterns. Soulmate recognition often initiates this change because it recalibrates your standards. Another powerful indicator is how your body responds to emotional situations now, feeling calmer during conflict, breathing more deeply during stress, and maintaining steadiness instead of panic. This regulation reflects internal balance strengthening. The universe often reinforces this stage through subtle confirmations, repeating symbols, meaningful coincidences, or unexpected insights that arrive during reflection. These moments remind you that your growth is supported, not isolated. Another transformation occurs in how you perceive time, becoming more patient, less rushed, trusting that alignment unfolds gradually rather than instantly, and this patience reduces pressure, allowing connections to develop naturally. You may also notice increased gratitude, appreciating small joys, valuing consistency, and recognizing progress instead of focusing on what's missing. Gratitude shifts emotional frequency and attracts aligned experiences. Another sign of integration is emotional independence, feeling fulfilled without needing constant attention. Building your own happiness through purpose, creativity, and self-care. Soulmate encounters often awaken this independence because they teach you that love begins internally. Another shift is how you respond to past memories, no longer replaying them with emotional charge, viewing them with understanding instead of attachment, and this emotional neutrality signals healing completion. You may also experience moments of sudden clarity about your life direction, career goals, personal mission, or lifestyle choices, and these insights often appear after emotional awakening, guiding you toward alignment beyond relationships. Another indicator is how you attract different types of people now, more emotionally mature individuals, more honest connections, more aligned opportunities, reflecting your internal growth. The universe mirrors inner change through external encounters. Another sign is increased resilience, handling disappointment with grace, learning from setbacks, and maintaining optimism without unrealistic expectations. This emotional strength develops through awareness. Soulmate encounters often serve as catalysts for this transformation. Another shift appears in how you define love, no longer associating it with intensity alone, but with respect, stability, mutual support, and shared growth. This evolved definition influences future connections positively. You may also notice your creative energy increasing, feeling inspired to express yourself through art, writing, movement, or other forms of creation. Creativity often rises during spiritual awakening because emotional energy seeks expression. Another indicator is how you respond to challenges, viewing obstacles as opportunities for learning rather than punishment, approaching difficulties with problem-solving mindset instead of victim mentality. This perspective shift reflects emotional maturity. The universe also supports this stage by aligning circumstances that encourage growth, introducing opportunities that challenge comfort zones, pushing you toward expansion rather than stagnation. Another sign is your increased ability to let go, releasing situations that no longer serve you, ending unhealthy attachments, and creating space for new experiences. This ability strengthens emotional freedom. You may also notice heightened compassion toward others, understanding that everyone carries unseen struggles. Practicing empathy without absorbing negativity, this emotional intelligence develops through awareness. Soulmate recognition often deepens compassion because it expands emotional range. Another shift is how you experience silence, no longer fearing quiet moments, finding peace in stillness, using solitude for reflection and connection with inner guidance. This comfort with silence reflects spiritual grounding. Another indicator is improved decision-making, choosing paths aligned with values instead of external pressure, trusting inner wisdom more than social expectations. This clarity strengthens personal direction. You may also feel drawn to environments that support growth, spending time in nature, engaging in meaningful communities, or seeking spaces that nourish emotional health. These choices reflect alignment. Another sign is how your emotional reactions become more measured, responding thoughtfully instead of impulsively, pausing before speaking, and choosing words carefully. This discipline strengthens relationships. The universe continues guiding you through subtle signs, reminding you that your growth journey is ongoing, not complete, and that awareness is a continuous process, not a destination. Recognizing these transformations confirms that meeting your soulmate was not only about connection, but about awakening, preparation, and alignment for future chapters, and this awareness positions you to step forward with clarity, confidence, and emotional readiness for what comes next. As this awareness continues unfolding, another layer begins shaping your emotional landscape, one that influences how you approach future connections, opportunities, and life direction. Because soulmate recognition does not remain isolated in memory, it evolves into guidance that subtly directs your choices. You may notice a growing sense of purpose developing, feeling drawn toward experiences that align with your values rather than temporary satisfaction, and this inner pull reflects alignment taking form. Another sign of progression is heightened emotional clarity, understanding your needs more precisely, recognizing what brings fulfillment, and honoring your boundaries without guilt. This clarity strengthens your sense of self and prevents repeating unhealthy patterns. You may also experience a shift in how you handle uncertainty, becoming more trusting of the process, less anxious about outcomes, and more comfortable allowing things to unfold naturally. This emotional ease reflects internal stability. Another indicator is increased authenticity, feeling more comfortable expressing your true thoughts, sharing your feelings honestly, and showing vulnerability without fear of rejection. This openness creates space for deeper connection. You may also notice your energy attracting different circumstances, meeting people who reflect your growth, encountering opportunities that support your development, and experiencing interactions that feel more aligned. The universe mirrors inner change externally. Another transformation occurs in how you approach commitment, viewing it as partnership rather than obligation, seeing shared growth as more valuable than control, and valuing mutual respect over intensity. This perspective prepares you for healthier long-term connection. You may also feel inspired to invest more deeply in your personal goals, pursuing passions, improving skills, or building stability in your life. This self-investment reflects emotional readiness for partnership. Another sign is emotional presence strengthening, being more aware of your feelings, staying grounded during conversations, and listening actively rather than reacting impulsively. This presence enhances communication. You may also experience deeper empathy, understanding others' perspectives more easily, offering compassion without losing boundaries, and responding with kindness even during disagreement. This emotional intelligence reflects spiritual growth. Another indicator is how you interpret challenges differently, viewing them as learning opportunities instead of setbacks, extracting lessons from experiences, and applying those insights to future decisions. This growth mindset strengthens resilience. You may also notice improved relationship patterns, attracting individuals who value honesty, respect, and emotional maturity, and distancing yourself naturally from those who bring inconsistency or drama. This shift reflects alignment. Another transformation is increased self-trust, relying on your intuition more confidently, making decisions based on inner guidance rather than external validation, and feeling secure in your choices. This trust creates emotional stability. You may also find yourself more selective with your time, prioritizing meaningful activities, investing energy in what nourishes your spirit, and reducing involvement in draining situations. This discernment protects well-being. Another sign is emotional balance. Improving, experiencing fewer extreme mood swings, maintaining steadiness during stress, and recovering more quickly from disappointment. This regulation reflects inner harmony. You may also experience moments of insight that arrive unexpectedly, sudden realizations about your life path, relationship patterns, or personal values. These insights guide growth. Another indicator is how you engage with the present moment, appreciating small joys, finding beauty in ordinary experiences, and practicing gratitude more naturally. This presence increases fulfillment. You may also notice your communication style evolving, choosing words more carefully, expressing thoughts clearly, and listening with intention. This clarity strengthens connection. Another transformation occurs in how you perceive love, no longer associating it solely with passion, but with consistency, respect, emotional safety, and shared vision. This evolved definition supports healthier relationships. You may also feel drawn to spiritual exploration, meditation, journaling, or practices that deepen self-awareness. This curiosity reflects awakening. Another sign is how you respond to endings, accepting closure with grace, releasing attachment to what no longer serves you, and moving forward with optimism rather than bitterness. This acceptance reflects maturity. You may also notice increased creativity, feeling inspired to express yourself through art, writing, music, or other outlets. Creative energy often rises during emotional growth. Another indicator is improved problem solving, approaching challenges with calm analysis rather than emotional reactivity, finding solutions through communication and collaboration. This skill strengthens relationships. You may also experience a sense of alignment with your environment, feeling drawn to spaces that support peace, spending time in nature, or creating surroundings that reflect your inner growth. This harmony reflects internal balance. Another transformation is how you handle feedback, receiving constructive input without defensiveness, using it for improvement rather than taking it personally. This openness reflects confidence. You may also find yourself practicing patience more naturally, allowing processes to unfold without rushing, trusting timing instead of forcing outcomes. This patience strengthens emotional health. Another indicator is how you manage expectations, holding realistic standards, appreciating effort rather than perfection, and focusing on progress rather than idealization. This mindset supports stable connection. You may also notice your emotional vocabulary expanding, being able to articulate feelings more accurately, expressing needs clearly, and understanding emotional nuance. This communication skill enhances intimacy. Another sign is increased compassion toward yourself, forgiving past mistakes, releasing self-criticism, and practicing self-care with intention. This self-kindness strengthens resilience. You may also experience moments of quiet confidence, feeling secure in who you are, comfortable in your own presence, and grounded in your identity. This confidence attracts aligned experiences. Another transformation is how you respond to change, adapting more easily, remaining flexible, and viewing transitions as opportunities for growth rather than threats. This adaptability reflects maturity. You may also notice your goals becoming clearer, setting intentions that align with your values, working toward long-term fulfillment rather than short-term gratification. This focus strengthens direction. Another indicator is how you engage with community, seeking supportive environments, contributing positively, and building connections based on shared purpose. This engagement reflects alignment. You may also experience moments of reflection where you recognize how far you've grown, appreciating your journey, and feeling proud of your progress. This self-awareness reinforces confidence. Another transformation is how you handle emotional triggers, recognizing them quickly, responding thoughtfully, and choosing healing over reaction. This regulation supports healthy relationships. You may also notice your overall energy feeling lighter, less burdened by past pain, more open to possibility, and more hopeful about the future. This lightness reflects emotional release. Another indicator is how you approach learning, being open to new perspectives, seeking knowledge, and expanding your understanding of yourself and the world. This curiosity supports growth. You may also experience a sense of alignment between your thoughts, emotions, and actions, feeling more integrated, authentic, and balanced. This coherence reflects inner harmony. Another transformation is how you define success, valuing well-being, fulfillment, and meaningful connection over external validation. This shift reflects maturity. You may also notice your ability to set healthy boundaries, strengthening, protecting your energy, respecting your limits, and communicating expectations clearly. This boundary setting supports stability. Another indicator is how you respond to stress, practicing coping strategies, maintaining calm under pressure, and seeking support when needed. This resilience reflects emotional health. You may also experience increased optimism, believing in positive outcomes without unrealistic expectations, maintaining hope grounded in reality. This mindset attracts aligned experiences. Another transformation is how you view your past, seeing it as a teacher rather than a burden, extracting wisdom instead of regret. This perspective supports healing. You may also notice your emotional depth increasing, experiencing feelings more fully while maintaining balance. This depth enriches relationships. Another indicator is how you approach conflict, choosing understanding over blame, collaboration over competition, and resolution over avoidance. This approach strengthens connection. You may also experience a sense of readiness, feeling prepared for new chapters, open to opportunity, and confident in your growth. This readiness reflects alignment, and all of these changes together confirm that meeting your soulmate was not just about connection, it was about awakening, preparation, and transformation shaping the path ahead. As this transformation continues settling into your daily life, another phase begins influencing how you interact with the world around you, shaping your behavior, mindset, and emotional responses in subtle yet powerful ways. Because soulmate recognition does not remain isolated within memory or awareness, it gradually becomes part of how you live. You may notice your priorities shifting toward what feels meaningful rather than what appears impressive, choosing fulfillment over approval, peace over chaos, and authenticity over performance. This shift reflects alignment strengthening within you. Another indicator is how you manage emotional energy, becoming more selective about where you invest your time, attention, and care, protecting your well-being by stepping away from draining situations, and choosing environments that nourish growth. This discernment supports balance. You may also experience changes in your daily routines, incorporating practices that support mental clarity. Physical health, or emotional stability, such as mindfulness, exercise, journaling, or creative expression, these habits reflect self-respect and intentional living. Another transformation occurs in how you approach relationships, seeking depth over quantity, quality over convenience, and mutual respect over temporary excitement. This refined approach prepares you for healthier connections. You may also notice your patience increasing, allowing situations to unfold without rushing outcomes. Trusting timing more deeply, and reducing the need for control, this patience reflects emotional maturity. Another sign is how you respond to challenges, approaching difficulties with curiosity instead of resistance, viewing obstacles as opportunities for growth, and maintaining resilience during uncertainty. This mindset strengthens adaptability. You may also experience greater emotional clarity, understanding your feelings more accurately, recognizing triggers quickly, and responding with awareness rather than impulse. This regulation supports stability. Another transformation is increased presence, engaging fully in conversations, listening attentively, and appreciating moments without distraction. This presence deepens connection. You may also notice your creative energy expanding, feeling inspired to explore new ideas, express yourself artistically, or pursue projects that reflect your passions. This creativity reflects inner alignment. Another indicator is how you handle endings, accepting closure gracefully, releasing attachment to what no longer serves you, and moving forward with optimism rather than regret. This acceptance supports healing. You may also experience heightened empathy, understanding others' perspectives more easily, offering compassion without sacrificing boundaries, and responding thoughtfully during conflict. This emotional intelligence strengthens relationships. Another transformation is how you define success, valuing fulfillment, purpose, and well-being over external validation, recognition, or material status. This shift reflects deeper awareness. You may also notice your intuition guiding decisions more frequently, sensing what feels right or wrong without needing explanation, and trusting that inner guidance. This self-trust strengthens confidence. Another indicator is increased self-compassion, forgiving mistakes, releasing self-criticism, and practicing kindness toward yourself. This emotional care supports resilience. You may also experience changes in how you approach learning, seeking knowledge that expands self-awareness, emotional intelligence, or spiritual understanding. This curiosity reflects growth. Another transformation occurs in your communication style, choosing clarity over assumption, honesty over avoidance, and understanding over defensiveness. This communication fosters healthier interaction. You may also notice your emotional boundaries strengthening, clearly defining what feels healthy, setting limits without guilt, and protecting your energy. This boundary setting supports stability. Another indicator is how you engage with your environment, creating spaces that reflect peace, organization, and intention, and spending time in places that nourish your spirit. This alignment with surroundings supports well-being. You may also experience greater gratitude, appreciating small joys, recognizing progress, and acknowledging growth. This gratitude increases emotional abundance. Another transformation is how you manage expectations, holding realistic standards, valuing effort over perfection, and focusing on progress rather than idealization. This mindset supports healthy relationships. You may also notice increased emotional awareness, recognizing subtle shifts in mood, energy, and intention, and adjusting your responses accordingly. This awareness strengthens self-regulation. Another indicator is how you respond to feedback, receiving constructive input. With openness, using it for improvement rather than taking it personally, this receptivity reflects confidence. You may also experience moments of reflection where you recognize how far you've come, appreciating your journey and honoring your growth. This self-awareness reinforces motivation. Another transformation is how you handle stress, practicing coping strategies, maintaining calm under pressure, and seeking support when needed. This resilience supports emotional health. You may also notice your sense of purpose becoming clearer, setting goals that align with your values, working toward long-term fulfillment rather than short-term gratification. This focus strengthens direction. Another indicator is how you engage with community, seeking supportive relationships, contributing positively, and building connections based on shared values. This engagement reflects alignment. You may also experience increased optimism, maintaining hope grounded in reality, believing in positive outcomes without unrealistic expectations. This mindset attracts aligned experiences. Another transformation is how you approach change, adapting more easily, remaining flexible, and viewing transitions as opportunities rather than threats. This adaptability reflects maturity. You may also notice your emotional depth expanding, experiencing feelings more fully while maintaining balance. This depth enriches life experience. Another indicator is how you approach conflict, choosing understanding over blame, collaboration over competition, and resolution over avoidance. This approach strengthens connection. You may also experience a sense of readiness for new chapters, feeling prepared for growth, open to opportunity, and confident in your emotional foundation. This readiness reflects alignment, and together these changes demonstrate that meeting your soulmate was not only about recognition, but about reshaping your entire emotional framework for the life you are now building. As this phase of growth settles more deeply into your identity, the final layer of transformation begins revealing itself through how you envision your future, because soulmate recognition not only reshapes the present, it quietly rewrites your expectations for what lies ahead. You may notice your goals evolving toward experiences that bring lasting fulfillment rather than short-lived excitement, choosing stability over chaos, purpose over distraction, and depth over surface appeal. This evolution reflects alignment strengthening. Another indicator is how you approach long-term planning, thinking more intentionally about your path, making decisions that support emotional well-being, and setting priorities that reflect your values. This foresight demonstrates maturity. You may also experience changes in how you relate to uncertainty, trusting the unfolding process, feeling less anxious about outcomes, and remaining grounded even when details remain unclear. This emotional steadiness reflects inner security. Another transformation occurs in how you visualize partnership, seeing it as collaboration rather than dependence, shared growth rather than control, and mutual support rather than competition. This perspective prepares you for healthy connection. You may also notice increased self-sufficiency, building happiness through your own efforts, cultivating fulfillment through hobbies, relationships, and personal development. This independence strengthens emotional stability. Another indicator is how you handle responsibility, approaching commitments with reliability, following through on promises, and honoring obligations without resentment. This accountability reflects integrity. You may also experience greater emotional presence in daily interactions, being attentive during conversations, listening actively, and responding thoughtfully. This presence deepens relationships. Another transformation is how you manage emotional expectations, maintaining realistic standards, valuing effort over perfection, and appreciating consistency rather than fantasy. This mindset supports long-term satisfaction. You may also notice your conflict resolution skills improving, addressing disagreements calmly, seeking understanding, and finding compromise without sacrificing self-respect. This ability strengthens connection. Another indicator is how you engage with your passions, investing time in activities that bring joy, creativity, and personal growth. This engagement reflects alignment. You may also experience changes in how you perceive abundance, valuing emotional richness, meaningful relationships, and personal fulfillment over material accumulation alone. This perspective reflects deeper awareness. Another transformation occurs in how you approach healing, addressing unresolved emotions, practicing self-reflection, and seeking growth rather than avoidance. This healing strengthens resilience. You may also notice increased clarity around your identity, understanding your strengths, recognizing your values, and honoring your unique path. This self-awareness builds confidence. Another indicator is how you respond to setbacks, viewing them as learning opportunities rather than failures, extracting wisdom, and applying lessons to future decisions. This mindset fosters growth. You may also experience heightened appreciation for balance. Maintaining harmony between work, relationships, and personal time. This balance supports well-being. Another transformation is how you handle emotional vulnerability, expressing feelings with honesty, receiving support without resistance, and sharing your inner world with trusted people. This openness strengthens connection. You may also notice improved adaptability, adjusting to change with flexibility, remaining open to new experiences, and embracing growth opportunities. This adaptability reflects emotional maturity. Another indicator is how you cultivate gratitude. Acknowledging progress, appreciating small victories, and recognizing support from others. This gratitude amplifies positivity. You may also experience shifts in how you define success, valuing fulfillment, purpose, and inner peace over external achievements alone. This redefinition reflects alignment. Another transformation occurs in how you approach personal development, seeking knowledge, learning new skills, and expanding self-awareness. This curiosity supports growth. You may also notice increased compassion toward others, understanding diverse perspectives, offering kindness without losing boundaries, and practicing empathy during difficult situations. This emotional intelligence strengthens relationships. Another indicator is how you manage time, prioritizing meaningful activities, reducing distractions, and investing energy in what truly matters. This intentionality reflects clarity. You may also experience greater confidence in decision-making, trusting your intuition, choosing paths aligned with your values, and feeling secure in your choices. This confidence supports direction. Another transformation is how you approach creativity, expressing yourself through art, writing, movement, or innovation. This creative flow reflects inner harmony. You may also notice your stress management improving, using coping strategies, maintaining calm under pressure, and seeking support when necessary. This resilience supports emotional health. Another indicator is how you engage with your community, building supportive networks, contributing positively, and surrounding yourself with people who encourage growth. This connection reflects alignment. You may also experience a stronger sense of purpose, feeling motivated to contribute meaningfully, pursue goals that impact others positively, and live with intention. This purpose guides direction. Another transformation is how you perceive your past, viewing experiences as lessons rather than burdens, extracting wisdom instead of regret. This perspective supports healing. You may also notice increased self-respect, honoring your needs, setting boundaries, and choosing environments that support well-being. this self-respect strengthens stability. Another indicator is how you approach future relationships, entering connections with awareness, honesty, and emotional readiness. This preparation reflects growth. You may also experience moments of reflection where you recognize the transformation you've undergone, appreciating your journey and feeling proud of your progress. This self-recognition reinforces confidence. Another transformation is how you respond to emotional triggers, recognizing them quickly, responding thoughtfully, and choosing healing over reaction. This regulation supports healthy connection. You may also notice your overall outlook becoming more hopeful, trusting that aligned experiences are ahead. Believing in meaningful connection without unrealistic expectations. This optimism reflects emotional balance. Another indicator is how you approach life itself, living with intention, curiosity, and openness, embracing growth rather than resisting change. This mindset supports fulfillment, and together these shifts demonstrate that meeting your soulmate was not only about recognizing another person, but about becoming the version of yourself capable of building the future you now envision. As this journey continues unfolding, the next phase begins shaping how you carry this awareness into everyday living, influencing your habits, choices, and emotional rhythm in ways that feel natural rather than forced. Because growth does not announce itself loudly, it settles quietly into behavior. You may notice yourself becoming more intentional with your mornings, choosing calm over rush, reflection over distraction, and purpose over autopilot. This subtle shift reflects alignment. Integrating into routine. Another sign is how your emotional reactions become more measured, responding thoughtfully during challenges instead of reacting impulsively, pausing before speaking, and choosing understanding rather than defensiveness. This composure strengthens communication and personal peace. You may also experience a deeper sense of accountability toward your own well-being, prioritizing rest, nourishment, mental clarity, and emotional care, recognizing that stability begins internally. Another transformation appears in how you approach commitments, honoring promises, managing responsibilities with integrity, and showing reliability not only to others but to yourself. This consistency reflects maturity. You may also notice a growing desire to simplify life, releasing unnecessary clutter, reducing emotional baggage, and creating space for what truly matters. This minimalism supports clarity. Another indicator is how you engage with challenges at work or in personal projects, approaching tasks with focus, discipline, and creativity, seeing obstacles as opportunities to refine skills rather than barriers. This mindset fosters growth. You may also experience stronger alignment between your values and actions, making choices that reflect who you are becoming instead of who you used to be. This congruence builds self-trust. Another transformation occurs in how you manage expectations in relationships, allowing space for imperfection, practicing patience, and valuing effort over idealized outcomes. This realism supports stability. You may also notice improved emotional boundaries, knowing when to say yes, when to decline, and when to step back, protecting your energy without guilt. This discernment strengthens balance. Another indicator is how you engage with solitude, using alone time for reflection, creativity, or rest rather than distraction. Finding comfort in your own presence. This self-connection deepens awareness. You may also experience heightened intuition during decision-making, sensing what aligns with your values without needing external validation, trusting your inner guidance more confidently. This trust strengthens direction. Another transformation is how you approach learning, seeking knowledge that expands emotional intelligence, practical skills, or spiritual understanding, staying curious and open to growth. This curiosity fuels progress. You may also notice changes in how you express gratitude, acknowledging small victories, appreciating consistency, and recognizing support from others. This appreciation amplifies positivity. Another indicator is how you respond to feedback, receiving constructive input with openness, using it to improve rather than becoming defensive. This receptivity reflects confidence. You may also experience shifts in how you handle conflict, addressing issues calmly, seeking resolution through dialogue, and maintaining respect even during disagreement. This approach strengthens relationships. Another transformation occurs in how you engage with creativity, expressing ideas through writing, art, movement, or innovation, allowing emotional energy to flow productively. This creativity reflects inner harmony. You may also notice increased adaptability, adjusting to change with flexibility, embracing new opportunities, and navigating transitions with resilience. This adaptability reflects emotional maturity. Another indicator is how you manage stress, using coping strategies, practicing mindfulness, or seeking support when necessary, maintaining balance during pressure. This resilience supports well-being. You may also experience a stronger connection to purpose, feeling motivated to contribute meaningfully, pursue goals aligned with values, and create positive impact. This sense of mission guides action. Another transformation is how you approach relationships with family and friends, practicing patience, offering understanding, and setting healthy boundaries. This balance strengthens connections. You may also notice improved self-dialogue, speaking kindly to yourself, encouraging growth, and releasing harsh self-criticism. This compassion supports healing. Another indicator is how you perceive success, valuing fulfillment, well-being, and meaningful experiences over external recognition alone. This perspective reflects deeper awareness. You may also experience increased presence during daily activities, enjoying simple moments, being fully engaged, and appreciating life as it unfolds. This mindfulness enhances satisfaction. Another transformation occurs in how you plan for the future, setting realistic goals, creating actionable steps, and aligning ambitions with values. This foresight supports direction. You may also notice enhanced emotional literacy, understanding your feelings more clearly, articulating needs effectively, and recognizing emotional patterns. This awareness strengthens relationships. Another indicator is how you interact with your environment, choosing spaces that support peace, organization, and inspiration, creating surroundings that reflect your inner growth. This harmony supports balance. You may also experience increased resilience after setbacks, recovering more quickly, learning from mistakes, and maintaining optimism. This strength reflects emotional health. Another transformation is how you approach giving and receiving support, offering help generously while accepting assistance without pride or resistance. This reciprocity strengthens community. You may also notice your curiosity about life expanding, exploring new interests, trying new experiences, and stepping outside comfort zones. This openness fuels growth. Another indicator is how you handle emotional vulnerability, sharing thoughts honestly, allowing others to see your authentic self, and building trust through openness. This vulnerability deepens connection. You may also experience a clearer sense of identity. Understanding who you are, what you stand for, and what you want to create, this clarity builds confidence. Another transformation is how you approach endings, accepting closure gracefully, releasing attachment to what no longer serves you, and moving forward with peace. This acceptance supports healing. You may also notice your emotional stability increasing, experiencing fewer extreme fluctuations, maintaining steady energy, and responding to situations with calm awareness. this balance reflects alignment. Another indicator is how you engage with inspiration, drawing motivation from meaningful sources, role models, or creative ideas, and applying that inspiration to your own growth. This motivation fuels progress. You may also experience a deeper appreciation for connection itself, valuing shared experiences, mutual support, and authentic interaction. This appreciation reflects emotional richness. Another transformation is how you approach life with intention, making conscious choices, aligning actions with values, and living purposefully rather than reactively. This intentionality supports fulfillment, and together these changes demonstrate that the journey you began when you recognized your soulmate connection has evolved into a way of living that reflects awareness, balance, and readiness for the next chapter.